Date: April 22, 2025. Location: Baisaran Valley, Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir. Casualties: 26 tourists killed, 20 injured. Perpetrators: 5 militants linked to Lashkar-e-Taiba, Let. Weapons used: AK-47s, M4 carbines. On April 22, 2025, 5 armed militants attacked tourists in Baisaran Valley, Pahalgam. The assailants reportedly segregated men from women, asking victims to identify their religion before opening fire. The Resistance Front (TRF), an offshoot of Let, initially claimed responsibility but later retracted the claim, citing a communications breach. India's National Investigation Agency (NIA) linked the attack to Pakistani-based operatives, with digital footprints tracing back to safe houses in Muzaffarabad and Karachi. One identified attacker, Hashim Musa, is a former Pakistani Army Para commando who joined Let after dismissal. A bounty of 60 rupees lakh was announced for information leading to the arrest of the perpetrators. So if you happen to know or can find out, making sure you are safe 1000%, do it then or else drop it. Then began a series of punches thrown at each other by India and Pakistan. India's response: suspended the Indus Waters Treaty, revoked visas for Pakistani nationals and ordered their departure by April 29, 2025. Expelled Pakistani diplomats and closed border crossings. Pakistan's countermeasures: closed airspace to Indian aircraft. Suspended trade and the Simla Agreement. Ordered Indian nationals to leave Pakistan within 48 hours. Global stance: the US urged de-escalation and offered diplomatic engagement. You can refer the hilarious statement of VP J.D. Vance. So basically the Western nations were watching its two-foot clients fight over each other. US provides weapons and arms to both nations and we are at each other's throats. That's world in a nutshell for you. Pakistan has been doing the dirty work for Britain and US. This was just snapped by Pakistani Defense Minister. USA has been there for a long time, swinging by both sides. Throw them a bone one at a time and you have a show to watch. We will discuss more on this later. Ultimately, the real question is, does Pakistan secretly endorse the terrorist groups? Let me tell you this one thing. All terrorists involved, whether captured, at large, or neutralized, have been identified as Muslim by religion. This is a factual observation. However, it's essential to understand that true Islam, as taught in the Quran, does not endorse violence or terrorism. These individuals should therefore be described as extremists or radical militants who are Muslims, not representatives of Islam or the broader Muslim community. It's a tragic distortion, a wolf in sheep's clothing, where acts of terror are committed under the false banner of faith. Unfortunately, this leads to the widespread perception of Islamic terror, a label that often hurts the peaceful majority of Muslims worldwide. That being said, it's not a reason to generalize or view all Muslims with suspicion. An educated, sensible person will distinguish between peaceful followers of Islam and those who have weaponized religion for violent agendas. Hatred, extremism, and blind fanaticism in any religion can only lead to division, fear, and destruction. For example, Jantu Ali Sheikh, a proud member of India's elite 6 Para Special Forces, was martyred in the line of duty during this very conflict. He himself was a Muslim, serving his country with honor and courage. His sacrifice reminds us that faith and patriotism can and do coexist. During the attack, the militants reportedly separated women and children from the group, but forced the men to recite Islamic verses, and those who failed were executed. Many survivors watched in horror as their loved ones were killed in front of them, unable to intervene. At least 26 people were killed, including 25 tourists and 1 local, a Muslim pony operator. Later, it was confirmed that one of the victims was a Christian, and the rest were predominantly Hindu. Over 20 others were injured. While Indian government pointed the finger to Pakistan, the civilians and Kashmiris blamed faulty security by Indian government. Such a huge tourist attraction in the valley and absolutely no army patrol or posting nearby to safeguard, and massive delay in emergency help. In the aftermath, locals assisted in the rescue effort and offered shelter to victims. Members of the local Pony Handlers Association rescued 11 injured tourists on ponies and improvised stretchers. Gurudwaras in Kashmir opened their doors to shelter tourists fleeing the valley in fear, as many sought safety closer to cities and airports to return to their home states. Emergency services arrived at the scene after news of the attack reached district headquarters. 2 critically injured victims were taken to the district hospital at Anantnag at around 16:30, while others were transported to nearby medical centers. The critically injured were airlifted to a military hospital in Srinagar by helicopter for further treatment. A helpline was established to assist affected tourists. A joint cordon and search operation was launched by the Indian Army, paramilitary forces, and Jammu and Kashmir police. A temporary lockdown was imposed in Pahalgam, and Indian Army helicopters were deployed to track down the militants, who reportedly fled to the upper reaches of the Pir Panjal range. Let's discuss the delay in Army's response on map. Now, here's Pahalgam Valley in Jammu and Kashmir, and for those unfamiliar, this is what the original map of India looks like. Yes, parts of it are currently under Pakistani control in the north, and some areas are under Chinese administration in the east, but these regions are disputed due to historical conflicts and territorial claims made in bad faith. We'll break down that complex history and the Indo-Pak wars in a future video. On the day of the attack, Pahalgam was bustling with tourists, enjoying the natural beauty of the valley. Whether it's winter or summer, this place is nothing short of heaven on earth, and in times like these, India cherishes such peace and beauty even more. Geographically, forests surround the valley to the north and south, with some vacant open stretches. About 1.5 kilometers to the west, there's visible urban development. Further east, however, is a dense forested region, largely uninhabited. The escape route of the terrorists isn't hard to guess. The Indian Army should ideally have maintained forward deployment in those vacant or peripheral zones, especially because Pahalgam is a known tourist magnet, and sadly, a potential soft target. Shots fired from AK-47s or M4 carbines in the open mountain valley, especially considering the local climate and echoing geography, can be clearly heard up to 400 to 900 meters away. If a military post or patrol had been stationed within that range, there might have been a faster response window, either to engage the militants or at least to render immediate medical aid to victims. So that's the entire breakdown of the attack. Be sharp and safe.
Henry Kissinger's famous line that if you're a friend of the United States, beware. It wants to use India to beat up China. Don't play the American game. That's my only advice to you.